Good morning, subscribers and viewers from all over Nigeria. I'm here again, and today I would like to teach you a poem titled Lokoja by Niyi Osundare. Now, this poem is beneficial for every person who is a lover of poetry, who appreciates the literary works of Niyi Osundare, and also, and most importantly, who is a student in Year 9 and will be sitting the NECO BECE examinations in 2025, 2026, and 2027. So, if you're going to be sitting NECO BECE, what we call Junior NECO examination in Nigeria, 2025, 2026, and 2027, this poem is for you. It is part of your series. So now let's delve in. We're learning to summarize the poem, look at the figures of speech and poetic devices, just a full analysis. So walk with me, please. I am going to be reciting the poem at this point. Then I analyze it. Okay? Thank you. Lokoja by Niyi Osundare. Fair of fishes, bank so rich with sand and sound, land of the antelope and the proud savanna grass, tall brave men, alluring women. Once upon a time in this sacred place, the lordly Niger and the buxom Benue met and fell in love. The Niger flowed into the Benue flowed into the Niger. Larger and stronger, now they flow towards the sea. A very short one, very short poem. So that's the poem. Now to begin, I'm sure you've heard of the word Lokoja. For some of you, you're trying to place, okay, where is this? It's a place in Nigeria. You're asking yourself, where is this place located? Lokoja is located in North Central. It is the capital city of the state Kogi. It is a very vibrant state, and some of their native dialects include Ibira, Igala, Kaba, and a host of others that I might not be able to remember at this point. Another thing, you might be wondering, that's just not what I know about Lokoja. There is something I know about this state. There has to be something. There is something. Yup. Look at the map on your screen. This is a cross-section of the Nigerian map. This image on your screen. You are correct. Lokoja, Kogi State, has always been known as the Confluence City. Confluence, the meeting point of River Niger and River Benue. You know that why we see in our map, the first time your teacher taught you about the map of Nigeria and they told you this is the confluence, so this is Lokoja, then you go to Abuja, then you go to Kaduna. I'm sure it's getting clearer now. That is why for some reasons this state is popular or famous in our country and beyond. Alright, now let's quickly analyze the poem. Fair of fishes, bank so rich with sand and sound. The poet begins by appreciating the state. Now, one thing you should know is it is riverine. They have lots of rivers, or obviously that's where River Niger and Benue meet. So you can imagine. Now, what are those? We are looking at the setting now. We are looking at the economic setting. What are those economic activities people living in riverine area indulge in? Agriculture, where you have fishing, farming. Am I making sense? Those are predominantly the occupation of people who stay close to the river banks, with riverine areas. A lot of fishing and farming, just basically agricultural activities. Some people rear reptiles, they rear seafoods, and Lokoja is not an exception. It's a poem it's a praise poem. Praise poems are called panegyrics. It's a praise poem. Praise poems are called panegyrics, poems that are eulogizing or praising a city or a person or a place or an event. Now, fair of fishes, meaning there's a lot of fishes, He's probably sitting by the river bank. He said, bank so rich with sand and sound. He's sitting by the river bank and he's wondering, the sand, that sand you see at the beach, the sound of people jumping, having fun, farming, fishing, taking a trip. That's Lokoja for you. He's impressed by this beautiful city. He's really impressed by what he can see. He didn't stop by admiring the riverbank. He's now telling us some of those things that Lokoja is rich for. They say Lokoja is known for its antelope. Animals that would rather will go to the zoo to see. You go to a beautiful city like Lokoja and you could see them. And the proud savannah grass. Emphasis on that adjective, proud. Savannah grass. In literature, it is called, you might say personification, but it is called a transferred epithet. A transferred epithet. Okay, I'll look at that when looking at figures of speech. All right. Now, he didn't stop. He looked at the landscape, admired it in line 1 and 2, like in 3 and 4. He admired the animals. Then he went to humans like you and I. He admired their men. He said, tall, brave men. There's something about bravery and a man. Everyone, tall, brave men. Men are expected to be strong. There's just this symbolism about tall men or brave men. He now said, alluring women. He said, wow. Come on, now I'm jealous because I'm not from Lokoja and I'm like, okay, why are you just all about these people? Please, let's hear something new. But it's all right. That's what Osundare wants to talk about. Okay. Line 1 to 6, we have heard about this wonderful people. Osundare wants to tell us more. When I hear Once Upon a Time, I'm intrigued because that's a story there, right, guys? That's a story there. I want to hear the story. I want to know. Once upon a time in this sacred place. When they say a place is sacred, it is holy. It is holy. One thing that makes Lokoja sacred, for me, I think it's just the confluence thing. The fact that it is at the epicenter of Nigeria. It is where the two rivers meet. Very important confluence. Whenever you're taking a road trip across the Niger Bridge or close to Lokoja, ask your parent that when you get to that river, they should please show you where the Y meets. It is actually visible. You would see it. It is not just something on the map. You could see it. You would see it. I've seen it once when I was a little younger. All right, moving on. The lordly Niger. When they say someone is lordly, it's an adverb. The person behaves like a lord. Now, Niger is not a person. Is Niger a person? Yeah, Niger is not a person. He's referring to River Niger here. He said the lordly Niger and the buxom Benue. You might be wondering, why is he talking about them like human beings? This is the beautiful thing about poetry. You have that license. You have that poetic license to write your poem as you deem fit, to pass your messages using diverse diction and poetic devices to give that poem some aesthetics. The lordly Niger and the buxom. When they say someone is buxom, when I taught this poem in class, I told them, look up the meaning of buxom, and my kids were giggling here and there. Why are you giggling? It's a poem. Buxom meaning someone voluptuous. When they say someone is buxom, and it's usually associated with women, I ask them, when you hear lordly, what gender would you ascribe it to? Said, men, strong men. The boys were like, men, come on, mom, aren't we lordly? And I said, when you hear buxom, since you know the meaning of the word now, they said, oh, obviously women, and there were giggles here and there. So look up the meaning of buxom. It's just talking about the features of a woman. He said the lordly Niger and the buxom Benue met and fell in love. Oh, you can imagine teaching this in a middle school. Obviously, the giggles got louder. Oh. All right. Now, what happened when they fell in love? Ideally, from creation. What we know about creation stories: man meets woman, and they have sexual intercourse and they have children. That's like the ideal. That's what it's expected in a traditional setting. And Osundare also tells us the same. When they fell in love, guess what happened? The Niger flowed into the Benue, and the Benue flowed into the Niger. Then what's happened now? Larger and stronger. Comma, there's a pause. End stop line, there's a pause. Now they flow towards the sea. From that river Niger and Benue now meeting, forming the confluence. He is telling us how the confluence came to be. He probably took a tour to Lokoja and he said, wow, a lot of us, we know about Confluence City. And we know we are taught in history, we are taught in government. And that's one thing about literature. Literature encompasses all subjects, especially geography. He said, why don't I write a poem about this beautiful historical city? This city that is popular, that even the average Nigerian child would know, even though they can't place where they know this city from. Confluence, the meeting point. And then he talked about it as though he's talking about two lovers meeting. Because that's the only beautiful way you can understand the confluence. In fact, I conducted a survey after teaching this in school, and I sent a Google form, and a lot of students understood the idea of confluence better than when they were taught in history. Just passing. Okay, so this is the y-axis. Everybody draw the map, indicate the confluence, and label it. They understood the idea of confluence. They were more interested in Lokoja. They appreciated the city more. So that is the poem, guys. So moving on quickly, let's look at figures of speech. And if you've been following my videos, you know I go line by line. So when I go to a line I identify, you have to take notes. All right? Okay, guys. Fear of fishes, alliteration, the repetition of the f sound. So take notes. Assuming you see it in an objective test, multiple choice test. Fear of fishes, the repetition of the f sound. It's alliteration, line 2. Bank so rich with sand and sound. Now, I'm sure when you saw bank, you were like, is there a bank? Ideally, bank is supposed to be rich with money, right? But you're talking about the river bank. So if you notice, he played a little with the word bank there. There was this little play he did with the word bank. In literature, we call that pun. P-U-N, pun. He played a little. When you play with words now, that one where they say 7 days without water makes 1 week. They play on the word week because when you don't drink water, you're weak. And when you don't drink water for 7 days, it's 1 week. So, line 2, poem. I love Niyi's poem. There is always a figure of speech everywhere. Land of the antelope. Okay, I can't see anything there for now. And the proud savannah grass. It's called transferred epithet. When you give, proud, it's usually an adjective you use for humans. When you transfer an adjective for a human into an inanimate object, the beautiful snow, the beautiful snow adjective, the exotic tree. These are adjectives for basically adjectives. No, exotic can be used for non-living things, but you see beautiful snow, proud savannah grass. These are proud and beautiful adjectives we use for humans on a very good day. When you transfer them to an inanimate object, you call it transferred epithet. Epithet is spelled E-P-I-T-H-E-T. Look it up, please. Transferred epithets. It's not a personification, but maybe you've been taught a personification, and maybe that's what the teacher might bring out in exam. I don't know, but that is the ideal figure of speech there. Tall, brave men, alluring women. These are adjectives for humans. So, it's just like saying alluring tree. You see what I'm saying? Once upon a time in this sacred place, the lordly Niger. Here he's personifying River Niger as though he's a man. This is where we see personification. The books on Benue, another personification, giving River Benue an attribute of a human. Met and fell in love. The Niger flowed into the Benue and the Benue flowed into the Niger. In this line, you can see there's an inversion. Line 1, there's an inversion of line 1 in line 2. The figure of speech used is called chiasmus. 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 You can also call it inversion. In some textbook, you see it as inversion. So when one line is twisted in the opposite order into the next line, you see an inversion, but it's called chiasmus. Larger and stronger. Now they flowed towards the sea. You could say assonance, the repetition of larger, stronger, that's a schwa sound. It's a vowel, so it assonates. So assonance. So guys, we've looked at some poetic devices and figures of speech. Let's see. Okay, I have to skip my notes to save our time. Yeah, some of the themes are theme of confluence, theme of love, the meeting point of Benue and Niger. That's like the major thing, you understand? Then the two lovers meeting and fell in love and they flowed into each other. The entire idea it creates there. You could see love, theme of nature. He appreciated Lokoja, the landscape, theme of nature. There's so many themes, but confluence, love, nature trumps them all. Okay, guys? All right. I guess I'm done. These are some evaluation questions I have. You can have a screenshot and answer them on your own. These are some evaluation questions. Yes, also some figures of speech. The word flowed is repeated, It's repeated. Antelope symbolizes wildlife. Enjambment, when one line of a poem runs into the other. If you notice, the poem keeps running into each other. You understand? So the lovely Niger and the books on Benue met and fell in love. One line keep running into the next. It's called enjambment. Then the second to the last line, larger and stronger. In this line, we can see that there was a pause at the end of stronger. Pause. It is called, and in the entire poem, that is the first time we see a pause. Because there's an effect. He wanted to create an effect. He wanted it to sink in. When something is larger and stronger, there's a suspense there. What happens when they're larger and stronger? Now they float towards the sea. So the figure of speech there is called end stop line. Some call it caesura, but caesura is when the pause is in between in most cases. You understand, guys? So, tell me what you think about the poem. Now, before I end, I want to make an appeal. If you're watching this video as a guest, you're not logged into any Google account, a thumbs up wouldn't be bad. Like and comment and say thank you, or I understand, whatever, how you feel about the poem. But if you're watching it with a Google account, please subscribe. It doesn't take anything from you. I know that you have certain content you'd rather see on your YouTube timeline, but that's how I grow, and I know you want to keep hearing this voice. And eventually, I know you want to keep seeing my face again. I used to show my face years ago. I know you want to keep seeing my face again. So please, this is the best way to help me. Please subscribe. I beg you. Even if you're saying, I wouldn't need your content anytime soon. Fine, someone could benefit. Let me be selfish. I could benefit. So you subscribe. Also, for those of you who want your friends to benefit from this video, or other people, your WhatsApp status, click on share on your WhatsApp status. It wouldn't hurt, Please look at analysis of Lokoja for those of you who don't understand it yet, because I know your teachers have done fantastic jobs. Even if you're a teacher watching this video, you could share it with your students on your status or other teachers. But I would appreciate if you can just click on that subscribe button. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much.